talk now. This MMA, what we talking about? Yeah, you tuned into the pod now. Gonna be hard for you to stop now. Yeah, we caged in. Yeah, we caged in. Yeah, we caged in.
Welcome back to another episode of Caged In. I'm your host, Chris DiCarlo. Today we got a very special guest making his debut on the show. It is Calvin Dalton. How we doing today, my man?
Good. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing good, man. Thanks for coming on, taking some time to chop it up with me. I know you got a big fight coming up, Cage Titan 74. You're going in there for that Amateur Flyweight Title versus Joziah Fry. Of course, November 15, Plymouth Memorial Hall, Plymouth, Massachusetts. Before we dive into that one, though, man, I do want to get into your background a little bit since this is your first time on the show. So we'll just start at the top. You know, where were you born and raised, and what was growing up like for you?
Yeah, I was born in Boston, Massachusetts. I've lived in South Hamilton my whole life. So up in the North Shore. Background's pretty much in wrestling. Wrestled starting like third grade, all the way through my freshman year of college. Right after freshman year, pretty much hopped into MMA, and I've been competing since like 2022.
Nice, man. And then when you were growing up through school, were you an athlete at all? I know you said you had wrestling as like a nice background there from a young age. Were you playing, other ball sports as well in like middle school, high school age?
Maybe like after middle school, I was done doing everything. I played like football, baseball. High school, I played soccer for like 2 years. But after like sophomore year, I was getting real serious about like wrestling in college. So all the other sports kind of stopped at that point.
Yeah, of course, man. And talk to me about that introduction to mixed martial arts. Like, when did you get into the gym for the first time? When did you really get that itch to like transition that wrestling background into MMA? And why did you decide to take this MMA journey that you're on now?
Yeah, I took a gap year after high school, before college, before going to Bucknell. And I started just kind of like goofing around with one of my buddies in the gym. It was actually up at like the UFC gym in Boston.
Mhm.
One of my buddies, Casey Silva, he's competed a few times. We just started going there together. So that kind of got like my foot in the door. Yeah, and then after my freshman year of college wrestling, once I decided I was done, I just knew that like this was something I wanted to do anyways. If I wasn't doing this, I wouldn't have stopped wrestling. So
For sure, man. And I know your nickname is Killa Cal.
yeah.
Where'd the nickname come from, man? And how did you get it? Why did it stick the way that it did?
I think I got it like my freshman year of high school wrestling. Went over and wrestled for Salem High. They did like a co-op with Hamilton Wenham. That's still going today. And I was like 100-pound 106er, and I was just really aggressive. And I think my coach was the one who started just calling me Killa Cal. So just kept it rolling.
There you go, man. And I know you're 3-0 currently as an amateur. Still plenty of fights left to go in your career, but there's still a lot of, fight fans that haven't had the pleasure of seeing you fight yet. So for them, how would you describe your fight style?
Extremely aggressive. I like same way I wrestled, same way I fight. Like I don't know how to do it any other way than to just like go right at you. Cause yeah, I mean, I want to get out of there. So, not that I don't
Yeah.
want to be like, I love fighting, but it's like, let's wrap this shit up. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%, man. I
Yeah.
get that for sure. I know we touched on your wrestling background a little bit. You did, wrestle D1 at Bucknell. Talk to
Yeah.
me about like why you ended up choosing Bucknell, the commitment process there, or the recruitment process there, excuse me. And ultimately, how was your time at Bucknell for that 1 year that you were there?
Yeah. I think ultimately I probably chose Bucknell. Just because of the coaches that were recruiting me were like really enthusiastic about getting me over there. And I think that like, when you're an athlete, whatever division you compete in, knowing like how bad a team wants you there makes a big difference. So I don't even no, I didn't. I didn't even visit the campus. I don't think before I went there. I just decided I was like, all right, let's do it. Um, and I was roommates with the kid who lives like 30 minutes away from me. I grew up wrestling with him, so that was pretty sick. The year went awesome. It was super tough. It does definitely teach you kind of like a new level of how hard you can work. And I feel like I've carried that into my MMA training. I mean, everybody in the room, like the wrestlers are always kind of the grittiest guys. So, a lot definitely carries over, mostly with like mindset and everything. But I was happy to do a year and get out. Like you can accumulate a lot of injuries when you're doing that like college wrestling grind. So it's kind of nice to just do the year and get out of there.
For sure, man. And I know you ultimately graduated from Arizona State, correct? So congratulations on that, first and foremost. Did you transfer from Bucknell to Arizona State? And that sounds like more of like an academic switch for you, right?
Not even really like an academic switch. It was more so like a big part of the reason why I went to Bucknell in the first place was to wrestle, because I was being recruited to wrestle. So that was like all that went into the decision. But I really didn't want to be at like a small private school. So when I knew I was done wrestling and wanted to change out of there and everything, I just decided to do the exact opposite and went to like the biggest like public school I could find. So
Yeah, I feel that,
yeah.
man. How was your time at ASU? I've heard stories about Arizona State. I know a few people that went there. How was your time at ASU, and how was like graduation and getting out of there? How's that been for you since?
Yeah, no, it's amazing. It's a super fun school, and it's a part of the reason why I wanted to go. But at the same time, like there's so many good gyms around there. Like Arizona has an awesome MMA scene.
Mhm.
So I was training over at Arizona Combat Sports down there. I did a tiny bit of time at the lab. Yeah, so there's everything I needed.
Yeah, man. And then when you look back at, your wrestling career as a whole, I know you touched on it a little bit, but what were some of the things that you learned from wrestling and that grind throughout your life that you take over into your MMA journey now?
Yeah, just like understanding like when you put in work that you climb levels. Like I go into the gym now, like New England Cartel, for example, and I'm training with guys like Mitch Raposo and Chris Matinho, and it's like I gotta take my licks and like you know what I mean? Some practices like I gotta get my ass whooped, some sparring sessions I gotta get my ass whooped, but it's like I understand that if I keep showing up, that gap just closes and closes and closes. So just put my head down and work, and that's how I did it in wrestling. It's how I'm gonna do it here.
There you go, man. And you mentioned New England Cartel, so let's kind of transition that into your training camp, man. I know obviously New England Cartel. Any other gyms that you're currently training at, and what does your training camp look like for you right now as you prepare for November 15th?
Yep. So I'm splitting time between two gyms. I'm over at Defensive Edge. Josh Johnson's the head coach over there. We get a bunch of great guys in there. Elias Diaz just got a win on Combat FC. His brother, Mikey Titus. My younger brother, Brendan. We got a good crew over there. We got Mikey Bolger helping us out, one of the coaches. So that team's just like super tight, small. So we can get a lot of great work done, a lot of like fight specific stuff every time we're in camp. There a few days a week, and then the rest of the time over at the cartel.
There you go, man. And who are we going to see in your corner on November 15th? Who are you bringing over with you?
I mean, I think just because I'm splitting the time between the two gyms, I probably still need some time to figure that out. Last time we did Tyson, Josh, and my brother.
Mhm.
It just depends on a couple things. It's probably gonna be the same.
Awesome, man. And in your career so far, you are 3-0, three first round finishes, of course, the two submissions, one knockout. What do you attribute, this fast start and this fast success to your career and how you're able to find the finish so far at 100% clip?
Yeah, I mean, it kind of just goes back to what I said earlier about like fight style or like the way that I wrestle. It's like if I really feel like I'm better than you, like I'm gonna separate myself as fast and as quickly as possible. Like, some guys would be comfortable like wrestling like a 2-1 match, or some people are comfortable going out and fighting and winning like a 29-28 decision. But like I'm not trying to do like I don't want it to be that close. That's scary to me. Like so I'm just trying to go out there and wrap it up, you know.
For sure, man. And let's, transition over to the reason why we are here. Cage Titan 74. Like I mentioned at the top of the show, you're going in there versus Joziah Fry for the Amateur Cage Titans FC Flyweight title. Off the top, man, what do you know about Joziah Fry? And then how do you feel about him as an opponent?
Yeah, I guess like we're part of that same wrestling community, coming up out of like wrestling in New England in high school and everything. I don't think we ever wrestled head to head. We've been in the same bracket maybe once or twice. Um, I know he went and wrestled, I think, at Campbell, and then went to Johnson and Wales, won a bunch of national titles. I have a ton of respect for everything he's accomplished. Um, yeah, he's a phenomenal athlete, and I'm looking forward to testing myself against him. I really believe I'm the better fighter. I believe I'm going to win that belt. Um, I just think we're kind of in a position where it's almost like we need each other right now, where he's kind of crushing everybody, I'm crushing everybody. And I just feel like this is the perfect fight for us both to get a good gut check. So I'm real excited for that.
Yeah, man. As a fan who's going to be there on fight night, this is one of the matchups on the card that I'm the most excited for. Also, I think the matchup here is extremely exciting, and I can't wait to see you guys get in there and throw down. Stylistically, though, when you break this thing down, skill versus skill, do you see any areas where you feel like you have a clear advantage, and is there anywhere that you feel like he might give you some problems?
Yeah, for sure. I'll probably keep everything a little bit tight to the, not talk too much about that stuff, but I think there's plenty of areas where I have an advantage. I think obviously it goes without saying, like the area where he's going to try to give me problems is he's going to try to take me down nonstop. Um, I heard him say he thinks he has better hands and he'll use those or whatever. Maybe. I don't really buy it. I think he's gonna wrestle, 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 and I'm more than ready for that. So, we're training every day. Stop that, get up, everything. I'll be ready to go. It's not gonna be if he thinks he's gonna walk in there and it's just gonna be like wrestle, wet blanket, domination like that is just not gonna happen. It's just not happening.
And we, obviously know the matchup here. Everybody's talking about both of you guys' wrestling pedigrees. Obviously, you guys both have a deep background in wrestling. How much of a factor do you expect wrestling to be in this fight specifically?
I mean, probably a big one. I expect us both to wrestle. I expect to get taken down. I expect to take him down. I think it's just going to be full mixed martial arts. I think everything's going to be involved. So wrestling will definitely be a part of that.
Awesome, man. And, this matchup was made directly after, both your fights at Cage Titan 73. You won your fight. Joziah won his. You guys had that cool face-off moment in the cage after. Did you know that you were going to be next in line for that title with a win under your belt at 73? And when did you find out that you were going to be going in the cage and facing off versus whoever won that fight? Was that like a on-the-spot moment type thing?
I mean, I knew I was going to fight him next because, I mean, I had a good feeling just because of the significant like wrestling discrepancy between him and Jack Barry that he would win that fight. And then I felt very confident I was going to get past Martinez, so I knew it was just going to line up that way. And then going in the cage, like it's just another thing I anticipated because they tried to get me to do that at like the card before, but I was already gone.
Mm.
Yeah, I don't know. I was just like drinking a beer in the crowd with one of my buddies, and they started pulling me in, and I was like, all right, let's do it.
Yeah, hell yeah, man. It was a cool moment for sure. It's always cool when you see
Yeah.
them just make a matchup on the night, both of you guys in the cage facing off. It's just a cool visual, and you could definitely builds a lot of anticipation. And I think that's kind of what's leaking into this one as well.
Yeah.
What motivates you most as you prepare to, go in there for your first, crack at an MMA title?
Um, I don't know. It's a good question. I guess just kind of when you put so much work in, it's nice to have something to show for it. I guess there's a lot of people that are like, you know, giving their support to help me, whether it's just like my teammates, like giving me advice on things, guys coaching you up, like taking you aside, like my coach is putting time into me. It's like, all right, like, let's do this for them and everything. And yeah, I don't know. It's just kind of as far as like the title thing goes, it's like, that's not even really that big a deal to me. It's just like the next step and like, keep fighting, keep winning. This is what happens.
Definitely, man. And what can the fans at Plymouth Memorial Hall expect from Calvin Dalton on November 15th?
I'm just gonna go straight at him, and yeah, I'm gonna be aggressive. I'm gonna be all over him. I expect a tough, fun, exciting fight.
Yeah, man, I can't wait to get in there and watch it, man. It's going to be an absolute blast. If everything goes according to plan, obviously you'll be 4-0. You'll be the new champion. Obviously, this is the last Cage Titans card of the year, but can we expect you to be active throughout the last couple months or month and a half of the year, or are you kind of, taking the holidays off, retool, and come back for 2026?
I mean, you honestly, I never know. I don't know how I'm gonna feel when I get out of there. Whether I'm gonna want to spend right around in February or do May or wait or whatever.
Mhm.
I might want to rattle a couple off and then not fight in the summer. So I might do something like that.
Hell yeah, man. And, last thing before I get you out of here, man, where can the people come find you on social media? Anybody you want to shout out, anybody you want to thank, now's your time to do so.
Yeah. First, just starting to collect all the sponsors right now. So first sponsor just came in, Moby Cuts. Shout out to them. Get your mobile haircuts if you're in the North Shore area. Thank you to all my coaches, my team. Big shout out Mitch Raposo's fighting this weekend, or not this weekend after UFC 321 in Abu Dhabi. He's been massive help this camp, and the one before that. All my team, all my coaches, all my friends, all my family that'll be there to support me. Thank you very much. I appreciate you having me on here. And yeah, I'm excited.
All right, man. Calvin, thanks for taking the time to come and talk to me, man. I appreciate you coming on and chopping it up with me. Best of luck on November 15th, man. I'll see you there.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Got down for the count and he can't even talk now. This MMA, what we talking about? Yeah, you tuned into the pod now. Gonna be hard for you to stop now. Yeah, we caged in. Yeah, we caged in. Yeah, we caged in.